Hello. I'm making a rock video, a healing rock video with my artwork around me. Here's my blue god, my camera stand, and cameraman. Blue god cameraman is that. And the sun is out and it illuminates this room beautifully and I really like it. I have my iron rock here. I love this rock, the way it's shaped. It's pretty awesome. Found it at the beach. Very healing. I made myself a couple of amazing perfumes. Absolutely amazing. Nerve calming and healing perfumes. Incredibly nice. This is the infinity sign for the infinite cosmos that is there for all of us and wants healing and dissolution of ego, dissolution of resistance for all entities, alive and beyond. It's true. It just sounds a little bit out there, but it's it's still true, whether we believe it or not. It's pretty wild. Truth is pretty wild. That is wilder than the wildest dreams that anyone can possibly imagine. So that's why people, they like to adhere to a very limited radius within that coordinate system of infinity. An infinitely large coordinate system. And we think of a coordinate system, of course, as 3D. You have an X and you have a Y graph. They create the foundation of the coordinate system. Everything that happens within this is, on paper it's 2D, of course. But if we can expand this out into a 3D, we need another graph. Okay, then we have a 3D. That is basically, there'll be a simulation of that's what's going on here on Earth, with the 3D coordinate system in a computer. You can create something and have that printed out with a 3D printer. So, but what I mean with the coordinate system, I mean in the infinite number of dimensions. Okay. Infinite number of dimensions coordinate system of the infinite cosmos. So, and that's very difficult for a human to wrap their head around. And that's okay. It's not needed. We don't have to wrap our heads around it. It's just basically a statement that is truth, and that is a mathematical truth. Mathematical truth can elude our own perception, and that's okay. It's not a problem. Like I said yesterday under one of the Jiddu Krishnamurti videos, Jiddu Krishnamurti and David Bohm are endlessly talking. They will talk endlessly into all eternity, because their videos, their conversations are captured in videos, and that will never ever go away. Even if all the videos are scrambled up and recycled, that what has been there, all these conversations, they are timeless and they're endless and they'll always be there. And they were talking about this, can a regular person understand truth? The regular person, the regular guru type of person, the regular yoga kind of self-realizer, that's where already the problem is with that word. The word self-realization is already the problem. We want to dissolve the self, not to realize it even more. Like, bring it into complete concreteness. I mean, yeah, we need to become very concretely aware about what we are doing with the self-image in all of this. We need to realize how wrong and detrimental our self-image is. So in that sense, realizing, but not realize. But I know what they mean is to become aware about your greatness or whatever. But all of this is a convoluted misunderstanding. I see the ocean, it is absolutely gorgeous. The whales are migrating past this area right now, and it is absolutely gorgeous. They are infinite power and love. That's what the whales are, and I love them infinitely much. So Jiddu Krishnamurti always, they were always talking about, like, how do we convey this message to the regular person, or to that person who is trying to self-realize, or trying to boost the self even more, or trying to find enlightenment. Trying to find enlightenment, okay, is already the wrong path. I hope that makes a lot of sense. When a person is trying to find enlightenment, he is on the path of his ego. His ego is on the road to get somewhere and to realize himself, but not in the sense of real realization, but in the sense of making something, becoming something. That's what he wants to do. And that doesn't go anywhere. It just it loops itself back to where it already comes from, which is a greedy mindset of wanting power, wanting to be grand, wanting to have this great experience, wanting people to worship him. That is the average guru kind of person, the average meditator and yoga teacher. So, yeah, I'm not putting you down. I'm just saying you're looping yourselves. No, that's not where it's going. As long as you have in mind people worshiping you, girls wanting you, or if it's a woman, being adored, as long as you have that in mind, you're not on the right path. You're not on the path to truth. Because truth is, I am naturally a precious living being. And I'm saying this for all of us. You are naturally a precious living being. We are naturally, every one of us is naturally part of the infinite cosmos. But if you're on an egoic path in your mind, you're going the other direction mentally. So your body is already that, but your mind, hijacked by the ego, is going in the other direction. Is actually in resistance to that. Because it constantly wants to achieve and be and become and be grand and be adored. That's what it that's the whole thing that stands being. This becoming is always a thing of wanting grandness. If you were alone somewhere and in a desert and there you'd never see another living being again, what good is that grandness then that you have imaginatively achieved, pseudo achieved, you think you have achieved. You feel grand. Okay, if no one else sees that, then you are put back onto yourself, and you realize, this whole grandness thing was really to be adored. And I see this all the time in people. It's a trap of the ego. People need to become aware of this. So the moment you are going into yourself because you see that you are at the end of the road, you see that any other path doesn't go anywhere. It just doesn't. It bypasses existence. The moment you realize that, then you don't need to become enlightened or have an amazing experience or have kundalini experiences or something like this. You don't need that anymore. You are an innocent child again. That is the pure mindset. That's why Friedrich Nietzsche said the first step is, the very first step is, because everyone is a load-bearing camel. The very first step is to do the lion's roar. That's what I did with my parents. It's an emancipation process. The lion's roar says, I see what I have been doing to myself. I see what I've let other people do to me. I'm doing the lion's roar, and I say enough's enough. I say no more, okay? I'm not giving in to other people's egos anymore, whether that is they do this intentionally or unintentionally, out of some kind of role game or social game or personal needs or totally hidden feelings of entitlement, whatever they're doing, wherever that the meanness in them comes from, okay, it's completely secondary in that moment. Just as someone who brutally murders someone shouldn't be led off just because they have some kind of excuse of childhood abuse or retardation or something. No. So I see all of this very crystal clearly. That's why I am arch. That's why I am arch radical in my view. Because I would never give someone a second chance or third chance or fourth chance or an excuse or this or that, in the legal system. Someone does something horrible to someone else, in particular, something that totally damages another living being. That is enough now. Yes, okay. Don't take the papa dog, okay? Go alone. Are you gonna let him out or should I leave the door open? Yeah, leave the door open, but close the gate. Okay. Okay. I'm making a video. So I don't excuse someone just because they're retarded or they had a bad childhood. I had a bad childhood too, okay? and I'm intelligent, and I'm deeply caring. So that obviously is genetic, right? And I'm not gonna say, well, this person is less precious. This body is precious. Even the brain cells, but something in there is causing him, and it's not a demon. Okay, it's the ego. Something there is extremely immature. This is an immature soul that will do entitlement, and that doesn't see the other. Okay? That doesn't see the need of the other. Okay? And they'll do terrible things. Okay? I'm not going to excuse this in a legal system, and I'm not going to excuse this energetically either. So there's no excuse for this. My message to the world is to become aware about this. That is the only chance we have. We don't have a chance by letting criminals go, and so that they can endlessly repeat their offenses and make the world suffer. No, that's not going to go anywhere. That isn't going anywhere. So my appeal with these videos aren't even targeted at someone who's retarded or criminally insane. Obviously, these people are not right in the head. Obviously, they would probably not hear my message. If they do, good. That'll be great. That'd be great if they could suddenly see all of this, see what they have done, and see that they cannot continue like this. Okay, or a drug addict. See it, suddenly see it. It's like, you know. You suddenly see it, and if you really see it, if you really understand it, you see that you cannot go on like this for one more second. Okay, so it's just not an option. It isn't an option. If you see this, then it'll be good. But you probably, someone who's deep in the drug addiction, as my brother probably is, from everything that I've seen with him and heard him say, and the way he interacts and the way he behaves, and everyone else out there who is a drug addict, they're probably too deep in it. The pain would probably be too much to sober up. I don't know. I have never been this far into this. I reached a level when I was 25. I reached a level where I think I was actually 21 when I was drinking vodka with my friend Monica every day, starting with beer, then mixing vodka into it and drinking vodka every day. I mean, it's like there comes a point where, yeah, addiction will kick in, okay? And so at some point, one day I woke up, I drank a beer, and I was like, okay, that was it. I realized it. I realized there was an addiction feeling inside of me. I don't know if I can call this alcoholism already, but it's just, I don't know if there's a specific threshold where you can say from here on it is, but I will call it that because it is. Because anyone, I mean, if someone drinks just half a glass of beer every day, it's an addiction. The addiction can have different forms. So, but I realized this right up front, right in the beginning. My intellect just saw it. I mean, I just see it. You just see it, and you know the dangers that are involved with it. If you know a little bit about these things, if you just know a little bit about it, you've seen some documentary films, it's like total alarm, it's like extreme emergency. You realize it, and there's just no way you can continue with this, no chance. So I quit that, and then at 25, I quit it all. I quit smoking, any amount of alcohol. Okay? Even at my dad's dinner table, I refused the wine, even though I love the taste. He has the most amazing wines there are in the world. Amazing. But it's not an option anymore. Absolutely not. You cannot continue like this. It's not an option. And then you become sober, and not only is this also a major step, but the other people will give you shit then. They will give you shit in some form or another for quitting. So that's why I'm saying, quit the people together with the substances. That is my message. And the same goes for people who are abusive, and usually people who are on substances are abusive. The substances make the abusiveness worse. That's how it goes. But there are people who are not on substances and are also very abusive. And some of them are extremely abusive on substances or not on substances. Okay? But substances are absolutely no option. Absolutely no. It's just, that is just the total path into ruin. That's what that is. So religious fanaticism is another drug. That is another addiction, and it causes extreme violence in people, not just in terms of war, but people within their own families. It causes extreme things and extreme justifications for extreme actions. That's what religion does. And people fall for it, and they don't see it. They don't see the danger. They don't see the red flag in it, in themselves or in others. So that's why I make these videos, to point that out to people. So, to tell you, this is not the only path, that path that you're going into destruction. There are other paths too, that we can take, that are going away from destruction, that are going away from the end of the cliff, the edge of the cliff. You can continue to walk to the edge of the cliff if you want to. It's your body, it's your life, it's your soul. It is your living experience. Just don't do it to others. If you want to jump off that cliff, that's your business. Just don't do it to others. Don't push others to that cliff, okay? To the insanity or to the hurt or whatever, physically or emotionally. That is my message to the world. But, if you want to become crystal clear in your mind, you see the dangers of all of this, and you turn around. You make a U-turn, and you go away from the danger, away from the cliff and the abyss. And you go to truth. The ego thinks truth is the abyss, but it's exactly the other way around. It is the mind fogging that the ego does, that leads you to the abyss, that blindfoldedly leads you to the abyss. So take the blindfold off, walk in the other direction, walk away from the danger, walk away from the substances, the alcohol, nicotine, drugs of all sorts, chemical molecules. Don't put it into your body anymore. Don't ruin your liver anymore. Walk away from the violence. Walk away from your own violent behavior. Walk away from your ego dictating your violent behavior. even if you're hollering at someone, realize this is not going to continue there in that path. I've done it myself. I've yelled. I've ridden myself into these total extreme states of yelling. I've even thrown a cup in the past. I've thrown a club into a glass cabinet in LA. Yeah, it's not very cool. You know, that's when we're in a state of where the brain is just like fever, you know, like that's why they depict that with red, you know, we only see red, like our blood is boiling, so we only see red in front of our retina. We see our own boiling blood. We're right in it, deep in this state of overwhelm and anger and all of this. Let's not allow ourselves ever to get into that state, as Tony Robbins also said, you know, don't ever allow yourself to get into that state of being overwhelmed. Any kind of form of overwhelm. Okay. So if I know that if I check my emails now on this computer, and if I check my Nikki Loves Dogs channel's email address, if I check that now, I've taken that off. I had to do power wash on my Chromebook. I checked into my other channel, the Kenny Redwood one. That's why when I correct something on my videos that I'm making, it's coming from Kenny Redwood, because that's where that's why I'm signed into it. So if I check my red computer, that's over there, my Microsoft one that I rarely check, that is signed into Nikki Loves Dogs channel and the email address, and I get the emails from my family that are probably trying to talk me out of leaving them, or that I don't know what they might think. Then I know that I'm at this point right now not ready to do it, because I know if I do this, or let's put it this way, yeah, I don't want to take the chance of getting overwhelmed reading the emails, or the chance that I might even check on what they wrote, the chance that my mind's not strong enough to just bypass those, or maybe even block them. That would be the best thing to do. I see their emails, maybe I see the beginning of the statement, sometimes shown, you know, and I want to check it, and I don't know if I'm ready right now to do it. So this is one example of billions of people. If I already know, I'm a little bit, this is a tricky situation for me, for my mind, or for my mind state that I'm in right now, you know, better not check this. I better wait a little bit longer before I am stable enough to check this, or to see it and block them and not answer. If I get into a conversation again with them, you know, when they are in a mind state that is not seeing the whole picture, they're only seeing things from their personal egoic mind perspective, then it will trigger me into my own stuff and my own ego and so on. So if we know our limitations at any given time for whatever there is, if we become a little bit more clear, then we know how to navigate ourselves through these emotional pit holes or landmines. We see the emotional landmines. We see it more clearly in front of us. So when we see this more clearly, we can avoid it. Right? Maybe later on, we will eliminate those landmines. We will dissolve them, heal them. You know? they become dissolved. They will be no longer existing on that path. But right now, there are some. And I'm not going to take the risk. And the same for someone who's a drug addict withdrawing. You know that there are tricky situations out there. If you go back to that old buddy of yours who drinks, chances are very high that you're going to start drinking again. Okay, very high. That's very high risk. Like red alert. Don't go there. Don't do it. Maybe down the road, maybe in 10 years, you can go back to that buddy and you can sit there with him and talk to him, and he's still drinking, and you can think to yourself, how sad, how sad that he's still drinking, how sad I wasn't able to help him with my example of quitting. But you can wish him the best, and you can get up and leave without ever touching the alcohol, even if he offers it to you. But in the beginning, you can't do this, okay? Yes, I'm making a video right now. Okay. So it's not easy. It's not easy at all. It's not easy dealing with people who are like my husband, who see everything completely through a complete lopsided, one-sided filter tunnel and lens. It's just him, I can say 100 times I'm making a video, he does something, it doesn't register, that she's making video, I better respect that, No, it doesn't register. It's not out of disrespect. It's just not part of his mindset, It's not. So, we're trying to arrange each other as best as we can, but it's very difficult, very, very difficult. But, of course, no comparison to my family overseas. With my mother, I cannot coexist with my mother in the same household. It doesn't work. In the beginning, she'll be trying real hard, be nice, and I'm trying real hard, and I'm nice. And as soon as I step on her landmine, and I don't know all these different landmines, I still don't know all of them. I learn more about her, but what good is a coexistence if you have to tippy-toe, meander your way carefully, mindfully around every landmine there is? And there are so many of them, because she hasn't resolved her issues. Okay? My bare existence triggers her. My bare existence is a landmine that explodes in her. So that is completely impossible to coexist with her in the same household. It does not work. Not even going with her on a vacation, I trigger the heck out of her. So it's not working. In Las Vegas, she was not nice to me, so I was trying to pamper myself a little bit. I bought a couple of things, not expensive things, just like something that makes me feel better, like I bought myself some cocoa butter, lip balm, and some kind of bikini top or something, because I needed another swimsuit. And then she said to me, I see you are pleasure addicted. And the way she said that, for her, there's so much wrong with that statement. First of all, it's okay to be pleasure addicted. That's a heck of a lot better than being cocaine addicted. But my brother being cocaine addicted, first of all, she won't even accept that fact. So doesn't even accept that. So, and even if it was complete evident in her face, she'd making an excuse for that. But I'm not allowed to be pleasure addicted. I am not allowed to buy myself a cocoa butter lip balm or a cookie or chocolate or an ice cream or or a bikini in a bikini store or a swimsuit. No, I'm not allowed to do this. That is taboo. That's pleasure addiction. So, landmine, I cannot hang out with her. It's just absolutely impossible. I could hang out with my dad alone. That would work. There are a couple of landmines that I cannot touch. Okay. Certain subjects I don't even want to go anywhere near it. So, but if I respect these, there's quite a number of landmines, but if I see all of this, I can navigate myself around it. It's not so super to have to always navigate yourself around it, and maybe sometimes you accidentally come into the margin because you weren't looking. Oops, it goes off. The explosion. But I get along better with my dad. So my brother has developed a whole bunch of landmines now in his life. I'm 54 now and he is 49. Yeah. He's starting to look like Mick Jagger now. Already looked a little bit like Pamela Anderson's husband. I forgot the name. From Motley Crue. So now he's starting to look a little bit like a Maharishi, a little bit in the face, like a very angry Maharishi with a lot of landmines, and then cocaine makes it a heck of a lot worse. So it's like cocaine is like throwing gasoline into the fire, into the landmines, so that they explode much more easily. It's just the slightest wind that touches it. The word pocket money is a landmine, or probably the word child support, or my little brother. The ego doesn't like any of that. He's not little anymore, he's 49. And he's ridden himself into an addiction. If you see it, if you see the danger of this, if you see this incredible danger of suffering yourself and causing suffering to your daughter and to your loved ones, if you see it, you see also what it would have done to me if I hadn't said, thank you, I'm done, would have brought me into total nervous breakdowns. I would have to sign into a sanatorium for the rest of my life, and I can't afford a sanatorium. I can't even afford a sanatorium for one day. So I'm seeking my own sanatorium, okay, which is the holistic path, okay, which is hot springs, which is mud, clay, healing, healthy food, lots of water. So my message to my family and to everyone in the world is, see it, it's your life, but that's my appeal, my appel. See it, look at it, look at it. Don't run away from it. Look at it and see it for what it is. See yourself for what you're doing. See your behavior for what it is. And see yourself as who you are, a precious living being like everyone else, equally much. with or without the English couturier sewn designer suit, with or without a Walmart outfit. You're still equally precious. Yes, your cells are still equally precious, and your cells, they like that, everything that is comfortable. Okay, I would probably think that maybe the outfit from the English couturier is not quite as comfortable as the Walmart jogging type of outfit that is really easy going, with a fleece sweater and maybe fleece jogging pants. Very cute. Dress up like a teddy bear. go go to your friends for dinner in that outfit and see what happens. The ego would not be able to handle it. See, when you know that the ego is not able to handle that, when there's anger even shooting up, then you know you're not on the right path. Right? Jonathan Mese is on the right path. I mean, not if he drinks a beer. Not even one beer is okay. And he's probably not the ideal role model either. But that what he says is still true. Is truth. Just because someone is fat, they can still say, it's not good to be obese. It's not good. It's not healthy. They can still, that truth of that statement is still standing for itself. The message is still standing for itself. Just because it's the messenger contradicts that with his own behavior, doesn't change the message. That's what a lot of people like to do. They like to go, oh, he is whatever, and he's preaching the opposite. Oh, I don't need to listen to him. No, that's a mistake, because the message is what matters, not the messenger. It is the message. I'm not a god either, but I pretty much understand the message of the infinite cosmos, the truth. I pretty much see it very clearly in front of me. And I can say, hey, this is what it is. Okay? I'm not perfect, but I am working on myself. I don't want to be jealous anymore. I don't want to have these emotions. I don't want to be overwhelmed. I don't want to have a feeling of like my brother is getting 3 times more than I get as monthly support, already, besides the money that he's already getting paid for instead of what Barbara got. When Barbara died, my brother got her payment because he sort of took on that assistant role. So I'm not even complaining about that. I don't know how much he justifies that money for what he does. I don't know. Cannot imagine he's doing a very good job. Okay, certainly not a job like Barbara did. She held our family together. She had everything under control. She made sure that there was some sort of justice, that I was getting a little bit more, and she said, you have the right to get a little bit more. Yeah. You have that right, she said, and she stood up for me. My brother does the opposite. So it's a pretty convoluted and very unjust situation. And my husband saying to me, I shouldn't feel this way, or anyone saying you should stand above this. Hell no, I don't stand above this. I'm a living being, like everyone else. Everyone else would feel frauded or wronged or played with psychoterror and pushed on the back bench. Everyone else would feel the same way. Some people get violent when they are pushed on the back bench by their family. This happens, particularly when it comes to where the parents are getting old, and when stuff is being arranged, and when wills are written, and financial situation is being discussed and reshoveled because of horrendous tax percentage stuff. So people will try whatever they can do to avoid paying like the maximum inheritance tax and stuff like this. That's when the emotions come up. That's when feelings, I mean, if it doesn't come up before, that's when it comes up. That is the catalyzer. That is the mind tripper situation. That's when things come up. They will come up. When there are emotions in the family, when people are neurotic, and that is the case with 99.9999999% of humans. There may be a handful of people, maybe 5 people in the whole world, and we have like 8 billion humans. There'll be maybe 5 people that don't have to worry about this, that don't have this, that do not feel